Hello and welcome back for the final episode of the You Are the Program preview series. As always, please remember to rate, review, subscribe. It feels like this has been a journey to get to this point, and we are finishing up with a very exciting episode on the Maryland Terrapins. Mike Loxley, tough, grit, Maryland, September, Maryland. I think when I put out the Big Ten tier list on our Instagram, I didn't even know where to put them. I just put them as September merchants because that's what they're going to be. They're going to put up 70 on Towson, and then nobody will hear from them again this year.
Yeah, and this is going to be the final game of the year. Hopefully this game doesn't mean much for us because it means we either are in contention for the Big Ten and in contention for the playoffs, or we're out of a bowl game already, so it won't even really matter.
Whoa.
Hey, I'm just saying.
Wait, what? That like sentence just went from 0 to 100. This game's not going to mean much. And we're going to be in playoff contention.
Well, because we already have a playoff spot secured. Not
a bowl game, but a playoff spot.
Yes, you heard me. That's why I said hopefully it doesn't matter a lot. Because if it matters a lot, it means we're 5-6 trying to get a bowl win, trying to get a game to make a bowl. Is it outlandish?
I mean, yeah, but we've won 5 games over the last 3 years on average. So
I'm a Michigan State homer, right? What do you want from me?
That's why the Michigan guys are always in our comments. All right.
No poo-pooing around these parts.
Tyler, what about you? What are you thinking about this game? Mike Loxley, the September Merchants?
Yeah, I mean, we were talking about it. Week 3 against Towson? They're going to put up 70. They're gonna win by probably 63, and everyone's going to be, Maryland's averaging 50-60 points a game. Watch out. And then they play
Wisconsin.
Then they play at Wisconsin, who's probably going to be 1-2 at that point.
Yeah,
2-1 maybe. We'll see.
Maybe
but
defense.
They'll go get curb stomped by Wisconsin in Madison, and then it'll be back to square one for old Maryland.
It'll probably be the Maryland staple too. That'll be a Friday night game on Fox or FS1. Where they got all eyes on them, 3-0, fresh off the Towson 70-point drubbing, and they're going to get housed by a bad Wisconsin team. So it's always how it goes, like clockwork, year in, year out. That's why I was afraid of this game last year when Michigan State was playing their week 2, because they are September Merchants. We came out with the win last year, and from there, Maryland took quite a slide. They were 1-8 last year in the Big Ten, 4-8 overall. Their offensive S&P plus efficiency metrics were in the hundreds. Similarly, we were that bad as well, but they had a bad defense as well. And on top of that, going into this year, their roster has been absolutely raided by the portal. They will be starting. I don't know if it's been officially announced, but the belief is, Brian, do you know if it's been officially announced or not? Malik Washington starting quarterback?
Do not know official.
Highly rated quarterback, and that's one thing that Mike Loxley can always do is recruit. They brought in a couple different blue chip recruits this year to Maryland and hopefully be the savior and looking forward to that program. But I am not sure how Mike Loxley – well, I do know how he still has a job. It's because nobody cares about Maryland football.
It's a lacrosse school.
I mean, how many times do you pan to a Maryland football game on a Saturday afternoon and there are 300 people in the stands?
I mean, we say this every time we have a Maryland pod, and it is the worst stadium we've played in not because it's like an old crappy stadium. The locker rooms are very small, but it's just never empty or never full. It's always swirling winds. They got one side open. The wind just goes one direction the entire time. Can't throw a deep ball there. Except for Aiden Childs can throw a deep ball because he hit a 70-yarder against him last year.
Yeah,
because he's got a cannon for an arm. But that stadium is by far my least favorite one in the entire Big Ten.
Even as bad as Northwestern's was, like the locker room specifically, They still fill up that stadium, mostly for our games because of how well Michigan State travels and a lot of people in Chicago. But Rutgers, it was a fun game, fun atmosphere because of that DJ. But yeah, I mean, the Maryland games, there's nothing good about that stadium. It's always like, damn, we gotta go play Maryland. Not even because of the team, just because of it's just inconvenient to go play in that stadium.
Yeah.
We are giving them a break in this game by not having to travel to the ice frigid cold of East Lansing. This game will also be played at Ford Field this year. This has been much to the there's been a lot of Michigan State fans that have an issue with this, and maybe we can spend 10 seconds each talking about this. I don't understand the issue. Everyone loves it. I get the fact you lose a home game, but more people show up to Ford Field than you would have at Spartan Stadium.
You like it because you live close to Ford Field-ish.
Yeah, but what is your issue? Someone that doesn't live do you like watching the Michigan State game where there's 20,000 people in the stands and nobody's there?
No, but I do think that getting a home game taken away from you as a senior kind of sucks.
I agree with that. Is the only part I am sympathetic with is your senior night gets moved up.
I was going to say the only argument I have is senior night. I'd be pissed if I was a senior. Other than that, I would so much rather play indoors. And like you said, Dante, people travel because it's indoors. People want to go to that game. They know they're not going to be getting rained or snowed or sleeted on. It's going to be 20 degrees. So I'm all for it. If I was a senior, I'd be a little upset. But other than that, I'm all for it.
All right, that was the quick aside. Now let's get back into the Maryland Terrapins. We're not even going to show their college football playoff or Big Ten championship odds. They're astronomical. But I don't know. Brian thinks we might have a playoff berth locked up by then. So maybe he thinks
where in my statement did I say locked up?
The words did come out of his mouth.
They did come out of your mouth.
Okay, that was a big hypothetical.
The Maryland Terrapins have a win total of 4.5 this year. And honestly, as we were looking at it pre-pod, they might have the easiest schedule that we've seen so far. Now, it's Maryland, and everyone else is thinking that about them. But in terms of who they play Big Ten-wise, they avoid Ohio State, they avoid Penn State, they avoid Oregon. Their games are FAU, NIU, Towson, at Wisconsin, home against Washington, home against Nebraska, at UCLA, home against Indiana, at Rutgers, at Illinois, home against Michigan, at Michigan State. With that being said, how easy their schedule is, I'm going under because I think
You're going under?
Yeah, they're not a good program. They're not a serious football program.
I mean, I think they go 3-0 in September, and which means you have to win 2 Big Ten games.
My issue is the most winnable games that are on their schedule to finish it out, like in Big Ten play, are Rutgers and Wisconsin. Both of those are on the road.
It's a good point. I think they could have a chance at UCLA depending on how good UCLA is. So I think there's 3 winnable games there, maybe in the Big Ten schedule. I guess if you got to win 2 out of 3, that is a little difficult. So I guess I would probably lean the under as well at 4, like right on the number.
I mean, it's tough. I might lean over just because of the first 3 weeks. It's the September Merchants, and you got to just find 2 more wins the rest of the year. I'd be willing to bet they could do that with 9 games left in the season. Like 2 wins in 9 games, I think they could find a way.
Someone's got to win games and someone's got to lose games. They are typically on the losing end, especially as the season wears on. And especially with let's get into it now, because not only were they not good last year, but their continuity table in terms of what they turned over from their team last year, they are the second lowest in the Big Ten for 2025 of returning production from last year. Now, I get it, the fact that it wasn't a good team, so why do you want to return that? It is so hard to get your feet under you when not only were you not good last year, but you're also not developing those same people and kind of growing that continuity going into this year. They return 69 total starts last year across all of their players. I mean, 42% of their returning production That's 107th in the country. For reference, Michigan State is returning 66% of its production from last year. That is 16th in the country. It's a tall task for a team that historically continues to struggle in the Big Ten.
Yeah, to further that point, they're 107th in FBS in returning production. Mike Locksley had a funny quote that I want to read off. He was in an interview, and he said he compared the Maryland Terrapins to Macy's, trying to keep both the higher end Saks Fifth Avenues of college football from plucking his best talent and keep the discount stores from taking his best talent. And then said, quote, "I'm getting eaten from both ends. That's why you don't see effing Macy's very much anymore."
Whoa.
So he is quite unhappy with the way college football is shaping up and the fact that his entire roster is getting plucked. Understandably so. I don't think, even if Maryland had a great season, it seems like one of those places where you have a good year and then you kind of go bounce to a bigger program. But
that's what I was going to say. That's what you get when you go to Maryland or when you play at Maryland or you coach at Maryland. Like, yes, it might be a great spot for a big-time blue-chip recruit like you talked about, Dante, for a year. Go get the bag. This is the NIL world we live in. Go get a bag for a year and then go transfer to Oregon, go transfer to Clemson, whatever, wherever you're from, wherever you really dreamed of playing, because I know it's not Maryland.
He also, yeah, you can say that, but at the same time, how about you grow a program that you actually know can be sustainable? Like, if you're going out and getting high-end blue-chip recruits, yet you then also complain that they leave, how about you go do it a different way? How about you go a Kirk Cignetti route that went to JMU, and then he brought his JMU guys? Like, he knows how to scout. He knows how to talent evaluate, or go a Jonathan Smith route. Like, we'll see if the Smith thing pays off, but I don't have any sympathy for a coach in today's era that loses guys and then complains about it. I mean, biased as Michigan State fans, yeah, if we lose, blue chip guys that we sign year over year, but you have to read the room. You have to read the environment. You can't build a Maryland the same way that you can build a good program. You have to know the environment that you're in.
100% agree. I got nothing else for you, Dante.
Thank you. I felt good about that one. Huh?
It was well said.
Thank you. All right. We didn't want to get too deep into this podcast because, truthfully, the amount of time that we spent looking through some of these other preview series, we know that Maryland is going to be one of those ones towards the end. And as we see the light at the end of the tunnel, we're a week away from game week. This was a little bit of a tougher one to prepare for. So as we talked about it, I always like to pose a hypothetical at the end of these podcasts. Do you see Mike Locksley there at Maryland for an 8th year next year in 2026?
Yes, because he can recruit,
Yeah.
but it's also a double-edged sword because he recruits and then the guys leave. So it's kind of a tough, sustainable model. But I don't know. I think I'm not sure who else they could go out and get unless they try and poach a guy from a smaller school that wants to build up this Maryland program. I feel like they kind of got to do it the way Coach D did back in the day, where you take 3-star guys and develop them and get them loving the program and get them to fall in love with Maryland football. So I think that's kind of what he has to do if he wants to be able to stick around. And maybe he can, maybe he can't. But I think if I were to guess, I would say he's back for an 8th year.
You kind of took everything I was going to say, specifically about developing 3-stars like Coach D did. Like, I just don't think that's Mike Locksley's in his DNA. If you ask around college football landscape, he's kind of a scumbag, and that's just not who he is. I don't think he's going to be the type of guy that's going to want the blue collar 3-star kid that had one D1 offer and it was Maryland. He wants the flashy 5-star. He wants to pay him a whole bunch of money. But then I don't know how you can expect those guys to stay around the program when you go 6-6 every year and
at best.
And you live in College Park, Maryland. Like, it's not the name brand that a lot of these guys want. yes, you'll pay him for a year, great, but then after that, then what?
Did Mike Locksley personally recruit you? Are these some
No.
fighting words at him?
No, I know a lot of coaches and people around college football that don't like him.
Okay.
He's an I don't know anything specific about him to the degree that you're talking about, but again, that's like the arrogance in that comment to talk about guys that are being poached on either end of it. Like the era of college football, and yes, it's annoying. Yes, it stinks when you develop a guy and lose them. But at the same time, I don't feel bad if you're at a Maryland and you're trying to do it in a way, unless you have just some unlimited NIL budget, right? Like, unless you're one of those teams that can continue to roll it out and just pay people time over time over time, and you start to see success. Like, that's the other thing. Like, Maryland has to pull the plug at some point just because this isn't a sustainable method because of how their coach recruits, retains their roster, and he still doesn't succeed, right? So I would kind of be surprised, though, if he leaves because he's got this blue chip quarterback in Malik Washington. Typically, that buys you another year of, if the AD's asking him on a performance review, what can I look forward to? Well, I brought in this blue chip recruit. I need X amount of money to retain him, and you build the promise of hope with that. But I don't see Maryland football going anywhere anytime soon.
Yeah, I don't know. Mike Locksley could leave to go back to be a coordinator somewhere.
I don't really remember him at Bama. I mean, he was there for probably a year or two, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. That's all I wanted to talk about in the Maryland podcast was when this game's being played, a little bit about Maryland, but I'm ready to go. Our next podcast will be our Michigan State preview along with our total Big Ten preview, where we will give the gauntlet of, we'll give our Big Ten preview predictions in terms of who's going to win the conference, who's going to be in the conference championship game, players of the year, coach of the year, surprising team, disappointing team, everything on top of a Michigan State preview. Now that we've looked at everyone on their schedule, the excitement's starting to build. You can tell. They just released a video today it looks like This Is State series. Looks awesome. The social media team deserves such a big shout out for this summer period that they've had.
Yeah, they've been rolling with the videos, and it's been awesome.
Hopefully this is almost like a behind the scenes, like a Hard Knocks type of documentary. That's what it kind of looks like, but we'll see.
Yeah.
Yes. Shout out to Mandy Chandler. She made the video. She'll be in there talking a little bit. The best lady on campus.
You go.
All right. With that, we will talk to you guys next time when we have our mega Big Ten preview pod, Michigan State preview pod, and then we will be live for the Western Michigan pregame pod. Can't wait to talk to you guys. Go Green. We'll talk to you next time.